Exclusive Naruto videos lemon come out on my Boosty. You can watch and subscribe. Link in description. Enjoy watching. Description: what to do if you woke up in the body of a 12-year-old girl. What to do if your whole family ignores you and you never had any friends. Of course, change everything. When Naruto were the Uzumaki afraid of difficulties. Part 3. For the past hour, the Uchiha has been trying to use at least some kind of genjutsu on his friend, even the weakest one, but his attempts fail over and over again. And there is knowledge, but the Sharingan with one tomo is no good. He is completely undeveloped. Sasuke already has a lot of time to spend on this, but he achieved the point that he could easily track Naruto's movements. Although he has been training for several weeks already. 4 weeks have passed since arriving in this world. And they were full of training and more training. Kurama, as promised, drove his beloved and respected Jinchuriki until he lost his pulse. Every day, Naruto created several dozen clones and sent them for training, on the advice of the fox, of course. The first 10 clones practiced taijutsu, the others fuinjutsu, third throwing kunai and shuriken. Several more clones were reading scrolls, while others improved physical fitness. This method of training was once recommended to him by Kakashi sensei, for which the former Umbu captain was grateful. Let all the fatigue also pass to him, but it's worth it. Again, all according to Kurama. By the end of the day, Uzumaki was sore in every possible way. Even my hair seemed to hurt. To the very ends. The fox himself at this time was developing chakra channels so that Naruto could soon begin to study ninjutsu. Even though they were precocious, they were very fragile, so Kyuubi tried to correct this situation. If we summarize all this, we can say that there is progress, but very little. Almost minuscule. The only thing, he had more knowledge in his head, and the endurance of this body increased several times. The original has been helping with Sasuke's training all this time, which, in fact, is training for him too. And Naruto sent 2 clones to the academy every day, one under the guise of an Uchiha. Things aren't any better for Sasuke. Since he cannot use clones in such quantities, he has to do everything on a smaller scale. One clone trains taijutsu, the other ninjutsu, the third improves control. The original trains with the Sharingan and tries to develop it further. She and Naruto are sparring. The Uchiha tries to keep track of her friend, as her speed surpasses his. This, of course, hit the pride of the former last Uchiha, but he is trying. If you do not take into account the Sharingan, then there is also progress, but very weak. The speed is now higher, taijutsu was already normal, it has become even better, control is much better, but not perfect. Now he could walk on trees and water, which was important. That's enough, Sasuke. You've already used up all your chakra. You still have to dispel the clones. Stopped his friend Naruto. I already hate this world. At this age I already had a Sharingan with 2 tomo. So why? Why didn't Sasuke here develop it? Apparently, this was the cry of the Uchiha soul. Why don't you ask Itachi? Suggested by the former future Hokage. He's on missions. Nothing changes at all. The teenager answered with some childish resentment. Sasuke's personality traits from this world must be showing. Did you ask? The Uchiha's best friend asked with a raised eyebrow. Or do you know from your own experience from that life that he will refuse? I can see how tired he is, Naruto. He doesn't come back from missions, and also my training. He handed it to Sasuke, finally turning off his red eyes. They started to sting from long use, but he was already used to it. Moreover, I'm not sure what kind of relationship we have with him. At least better than Akira and I, Uzumaki said with a sigh. Family relationships have not changed at all this month. Not a bit. Except now the family doesn't flinch when he greets them. As Kurama said, progress is evident, Naruto-chan, keep it up. After which he was sent far and long. In 2 months the genin exam will take place. Change the topic to Naruto. I hope we will be on the same team. I hope so too. The younger Uchiha smiled. Ototo? Both, as if on command, flinched at this voice and turned their heads towards the speaker. Itachi stood next to them. Uchiha himself. Naruto immediately noted the small details: the bags under his eyes, his weak smile, and his shabby uniform. He must have come from a mission. Involuntarily frowning, Uzumaki immediately attracted the elder's attention. He looked curiously at the Hokage's daughter, but did not find anything suspicious. "What are you doing here, Sasuke?" He turned his attention back to his younger brother. Naruto looked at Itachi and realized that he was exactly the same as in that world. The Uchiha was the same as the last time they met. He must be 17 now. Or 16. I'll have to ask Sasuke. He wears a jounin vest that fits him well. In Uzumaki's purely personal opinion, Naruto, of course. The Konoha protector, not crossed out this time, is tied on his forehead, completing the overall look of the Leaf Shinobi. And to see Itachi alive and well after so many years was strange and creepy. A little. Although Naruto understood that Sasuke was several times worse. In the end, the Uchiha killed his brother with his own hands. Even in that world several years ago, Sasuke shared his experiences and his feelings of guilt with his best friend. He said then that he wished his older brother were alive. And he regretted that he had not found out the circumstances of that night earlier, before he personally took the life of the Uchiha. "Itachi. I'm training and I-san," Sasuke answered rather coldly. "And who is your companion?" Itachi was curious, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. "You know me, Itachi-san," Uzumaki said quietly, but quite confidently. "We need to slowly get out of the image of a recluse. And you have to be careful with this Uchiha, because he might suspect something. It's not for nothing that he is called the genius of the clan." "You're right, but I'd like you to introduce yourself properly." "Naruto Namikaze." He bowed politely, and the elder Uchiha repeated the same. "It's nice to meet the Hokage's daughter in person," Itachi answered too politely. "Nisan, you're just back from a mission. You don't need to waste time with us," Sasuke said, and Naruto noted that some lights had gone out in the eyes of the older Uchiha. He's definitely upset about his beloved brother's behavior. "It's okay. I see you've been busy here." He examined all the clones who were training hard. "More efficient," Sasuke briefly remarked in the same voice. "Itachi-san, you must be tired from your mission. And you don't look good. You need to rest," Naruto said politely, which caused a chuckle from his friend and an interested look from Itachi. "You're right, Naruto-chan. I'll really go." The Jinchuriki suppressed the desire to grimace because of this. "Naruto-chan." Well, he couldn't stand being addressed like that. "Itachi-san, could you please not tell anyone that you saw us here? I wouldn't want my family to find out." And she bowed her head in a polite bow. There has definitely been progress in applying the feminine gender to oneself. She could easily answer her interlocutor without fear of getting burned. True, with the inner voice everything is much more complicated, as well as in communicating with Sasuke. It's hard to readjust. Although Kurama promises that once a complete merger occurs, it will be easier. The Uchiha, who is Itachi, first looked at him in surprise, then bit his lower lip, but all equals nodded. "Fine," said the former Akatsuki. "Sasuke, I could help with training. I think it will be better if you are trained by someone from your clan." "I can't leave Naruto, Ni-san." Without changing his tone, his Otuto answered. However, Naruto noticed some strange notes in his voice that were not there before. "It seems that things are moving from a dead point. I will train you together," Itachi announced with a weak smile, and Naruto, unable to restrain himself, looked at him in surprise. Kurama inside grumbled dissatisfiedly about the red-eyed ones and about the fact that there are too many of them for one poor fox. He had just come to terms with Sasuke. "It's getting more and more interesting. Part 4. Focus on your right leg, Naruto." He made a remark to Itachi, which caused a dissatisfied grumbling from the above-mentioned. Well, of course, he didn't hear it, but it's a fact. The Uchiha has been training him and Sasuke for several weeks now. I must say that with Sensei everything went much better than it had before. Itachi each time points out the shortcomings of his taijutsu, helps with physical training by choosing a specific training program for the body, and evaluates his fuinjutsu. With the latter, he could not help in any way, since he himself, although he is the genius of the clan, does not know more than 20 of the most necessary seals. Still, fuinjutsu the specialization of the Uzumaki clan, not the Uchiha. He, Itachi, could only marvel at Naruto's abilities. And he just grinned. Not everyone can cause surprise in the impenetrable Uchiha Itachi. Sasuke was also doing much better. Itachi advised him on eye training, which he himself used after awakening his Sharingan, thanks to which Uchiha was able to develop a second tomo within a week of starting. Now there is an active study of genjutsu. The elder Uchiha says that soon Sasuke will be able to cast a weak illusion. For the person who sneezed, it was very painful. Previously, he could immerse people in tsukiyemi without any problems, but here he cannot impose ordinary genjutsu. Of course, he doesn't show it in front of his brother, but his best friend is a completely different matter. And Kurama inside giggles disgustingly at the attempts of the Sharingan. That's right, Naruto. Itachi praised him. Honestly, Uzumaki could not even think that he would be trained by the genius of the Uchiha clan himself. Itachi and I-san, when are you going on a mission? Looking up from his training, Sasuke walked up to Naruto and patted her on the shoulder before looking into her eyes. Itachi had long noticed that this couple was quite strange. They could communicate without saying a word, with glances and gestures. And they understood each other from half a word, no, from half a glance. Which was actually surprising. Even he and Shursui didn't have the same understanding as these two. He was interested to know the history of friendship, how it all began. Of course, she and her brother did not have the most trusting relationship, but in the end, this girl was clearly dear to her stupid little brother. Maybe he fell in love? Tomorrow, Otuto. Itachi answered briefly. I'll be gone for a week. I will leave you tasks that you will have to complete before my return. Okay, Anai-san. Yes, Itachi-san. The children said in unison, causing the Jounin to smile. Naruto, just call me Itachi. I'll be more used to it this way. Naruto looked at him a little surprised. This would disrespect you. Still, you are older, more experienced and stronger than me. Naruto babbled in response. Kurama was no longer surprised at how his host played his role. Naruto, I authorize it myself, so there will be no disrespect here. And I'm only 5 years older than you. The elder smiled softly in response. Naruto didn't say anything, just nodded, but that was enough for the young genius. As far as the Uchiha studied her, the girl was quiet and calm, quite smart and capable, but extremely persistent or, most likely, stubborn. When Itachi mentioned the quiet and calm, Uzumaki Sasuke just chuckled. Interesting. Later that evening, Naruto sat on the head of the fourth Hokage on a mountain with the faces of the world's greatest shinobi. The night Konoha spread before his eyes, captivating with its beauty. Uzumaki sensed every shinobi of the village who was currently within range of his sensory abilities. He felt his mother's chakra, so warm, but at the same time burning, mixed with the chakra of the Nine Tails. Father's chakra, a little cold, to be honest. Chakra flashed somewhere Itachi, calm and warm. He felt the chakra of all his classmates from the academy, which caused considerable pain. And, to be honest, he was bored. He missed that world where his friends, although not all of them, were nearby. They were family and so close that now I feel empty inside. So aching, just like when I was a child. Unpleasant. Naruto recalled all the moments associated with that Konoha that was in the distant past, that was in another world. And there were very, very many of them. Both bad and good. Naruto remembered everyone: Niji, who died in the war, his sister, Hinata, who always loved him, Naruto Uzumaki, Shikamaru, a close friend and assistant in any situation, Sakura, who could put brains in place with her fists, Kiba, Shino, Rock Lee, Ino with their own oddities, but so kind and cheerful, Iruka, Kakashi, Yamato, Tsunade Ba-chan, Ero-san, and teachers who taught him everything. Each of them left an imprint on his soul and in his memory. He replayed all the moments in his head and realized that it was all in the past. It was a different life. Naruto will never forget everything he went through, but how did you find me, Sasuke? Uzumaki smiled through his tears when his best friend sat down next to him. Shoulder to shoulder, as always. I know you better than you know yourself. Uchiha repeated his phrase. And I will feel you everywhere, as well as your state of mind. And I understand you, Naruto, and I know how hard it is for you now. But that's what best friends are for, to help in difficult times, right? For the first time in my life I agree with the Uchiha, Kyubi growled in his head. But I didn't say that. I let go of my past, but I will always remember. Naruto said quietly. Everything that was there remains there. We have a new life, Uzumaki, and we need to live it the way we would like. With your loved ones and family. With those who were not with us before. You are right. Now I'm Namake's Naruto, daughter of the 4th Hokage, Jinchuriki of the 9-tailed demon fox. And I will be the same in the future. Konoha lies ahead, and my soul is lighter than it has been for a long time. I will make sure that I am recognized, as I did once before. I will change my opinion about myself, Sasuke. And I will protect those whom I could not protect there. I know, Naruto. And I will help you. Then I was not with you in difficult moments, but now I am here. And I'm not going anywhere. I made too many mistakes in my past life. I must atone for my guilt before the clan, before my brother and before you. You don't owe me anything. Naruto sniffed, although he perfectly understood that the Uchiha would not back down. Must. Sasuke simply said. I owe you a lot, as well as my brother. You have always protected and straightened my mind, so in this life I will return the favor. And he nodded, as if confirming his words. But then he grinned and said, Though I'm still not sure you have anything to straighten out. As a matter of course, Uzumaki said. Agree. What do you think will happen in this world? We don't know the whole situation yet, but Akatsuki, Danzo, Orochimaru and the rest of the company of villains bastards. Eat whether they hear? Which they, I don't know, Naruto. But we must become stronger so that no one can destroy the future. At these words, Naruto smiled, wiped away his already drying tears and looked at Sasuke. We will change the world, Databeo. As always. Stupid two-legged creatures. Kurama growled, sensing something big. Part 5. Naruto was sitting in her room reading scrolls when she heard some noise downstairs. And she immediately felt two familiar chakras located in her house, like their owners. But what are they doing in her house on a day off? Although, after rummaging through her memory, Naruto remembered that her mother, Kushina, is friends with Mikoto, the mother of Sasuke and Itachi, therefore, these two have now come with their mother. Expanding her sensory abilities, Naruto picked up traces of two more unfamiliar chakra sources in the house. The entire Uchiha family must have come. If Naruto could use Fox's chakra now, she would channel it into her ears so that her hearing would become sharper, and she would be able to hear the conversation below. But since her chakra channels are not yet ready for this, she had to pull herself together and go down to the guests. In the end, Naruto gradually emerges from the image of that reclusive girl that the previous owner of the body was. If she had her way, she would have thrown off this mask long ago, but mentally understanding that this would cause a lot of suspicion and many questions, Naruto decided not to take risks and do everything gradually. Now she decided to go down to the guests and just say hello. For the past month and a half, Naruto has been training with the Uchiha brothers under the guidance of the eldest of them. She was recently informed by Kurama that her chakra channels are ready for ninjutsu training. On the same day, Naruto and Sasuke determined their elements, the Jinchuriki wind, fire, and a third one was also discovered water. Itachi then said that it is very rare when at that age 3 elements manifest themselves at once. Not the last Uchiha had fire and lightning. There was absolutely nothing surprising here. Itachi immediately began training the two to use the element of fire, and Uzumaki brought scrolls about wind techniques, where a decent number of techniques were described. In that world, Naruto tried for a very long time to find at least some description of the techniques of her main element, but failed. The only strong shinobi who used wind techniques that she knew were Danzo, who had long since passed away, and Temari, Gaara's sister. The latter used a fan for her techniques, which was no longer suitable for the future kunoichi, as well as Asuma, who, like the head of the root, died. And then Itachi brought several scrolls, which was heaven for Naruto. She sent several clones to read this magnificence, and she herself began to study the katon. We decided not to take on the Suidan for now. After all, it is the weakest of her elements. Itachi-kun, you have grown so much? She heard her mother's voice. The girl grinned to herself, knowing how these two brothers felt about suffixes. And Naruto herself doesn't like them, to be honest. Thank you, Kushina-san. And again, a forced smile can be heard in the voice, which no one will notice, except perhaps Uzumaki herself and his brother. The guests, along with the Namikaze family, were sitting in the living room, where Naruto looked. Glory to Kami, Itachi and Sasuke saw her first, so with a look she asked not to give her away. Although, she knew very well that the Uchiha would not be extradited. It's not that she opened up much to the eldest of her brothers, but still, spending a lot of time with him, Uzumaki slowly took off her recluse mask in front of him. She behaved more openly with him than with her family. She could ask for advice or support the brothers' conversation. True, she supported this conversation with several phrases, but this is progress, as Itachi-kun decided to himself. Is this Naruto-chan? Mikoto exclaimed too cheerfully. Uchiha. Her entire family, as if on command, shuddered and turned their heads in her direction. Fugaku sent an interested look, but that was all. Itachi and Sasuke, it's immediately obvious that they are brothers. They smiled at just the corners of their lips so that no one would notice. And Naruto herself, like her predecessor, shuddered and looked at the woman in fear. Hello, Mikoto-san, Fugaku-san, Itachi-san, Sasuke-kun. The Jinchuriki quickly lost the desire to sing this notorious kun, as he usually likes to tease his best friend in private. And Uzumaki is ready to bet that the Uchiha will remember this to her. A smirk flashed somehow unkindly on his lips. And everything has been fine with her analysis for a long time. At this greeting, Mikoto smiled joyfully, Fugaku nodded his head, Itachi smiled, and Sasuke, well, Sasuke, this is Sasuke. Everything is clear here. And the relatives pursed their lips in unison. You've grown so much, Naruto-chan. Now she clearly understands what Itachi was experiencing. She didn't respond to this statement, she just walked around the corner a little. You and Sasuke are in the same class, right? You'll be distributed soon too. Maybe you'll end up on the same team. Mikoto continued to broadcast. Hello, Naruto-chan. Sasuke responded mockingly to her greeting. Databeo. Naruto mentally promised herself. Just in case, contact me. Kurama, who is always for any fuss concerning the Uchihas, contributed. I'll go. Naruto said very quietly and turned around to go to her room. That's enough for today. She fulfilled the norm of politeness. Sasuke, go with Naruto. You have something to discuss. Pushed the sneezing man Mikoto. Sasuke, for show, muttered something, looked at the girl's back with a cold look, but went on. After all, they actually have a lot to talk about. Entering the room, Naruto immediately set up a sound barrier so that no one could hear their conversation. In this house, she could only trust Sasuke and Itachi, so it was better to be safe. You never know who will want to eavesdrop. Although Naruto is more than sure that now her family is thinking about how to save poor Sasuke from the hands of the Nine-Tails. At least they are sure that Uzumaki will not talk. I'm behind you now for Chan PRB. Uzumaki hissed through her teeth. This is for your kun. Her best friend answered. If I just called you by your name, it would be strange. Naruto snorted. And you could have ignored me. But I had to answer the greeting. It would be rude. The respected Uchiha quipped in response, suddenly remembering politeness. Team. Dobe. Databeo. The young Jinchuriki hissed. I won't give in. If they weren't at home, they would have sparred, but they just sat on the bed of the occupant of the room, where there was a bunch of scrolls. Be that as it may, her parents and brother do not enter her den, so she was not afraid of getting burned. What to do about the exam? It's clear, I'm the best student in the class, so I don't need to cover up my abilities, but I'll write the written test as a solid, satisfactory, then there will be one of the techniques, and I'm more than sure that I'll come across fucking illusory clones. I'll make one shadow one and that'll be enough. Next will be throwing kunai and shuriken, no problems there. Namikaze always passed it well, so nothing surprising will happen. Uzumaki described her plan, and Sasuke nodded with satisfaction. How are you with the Rasengan? Have you started to master it? Uchiha asked an interesting question. Yes, Kurama said that it was already possible, so yesterday I completed the first stage. Today I started mastering the second one, but it is more difficult. That time it took me several weeks to complete it. And she sighed heavily. However, her favorite Rasengan is not yet available to her. This is absolutely terrible. As she once lamented about this to Sasuke, he still shudders in horror. In response, however, she listened to a long tirade about her favorite Chidori. So each one blew the other's minds, and that's what they decided on. Nisan leaves for a mission tomorrow, so there won't be any training for a few weeks. Sasuke warned. We won't have time for them. We have an exam, assignment, and then D-rank missions. Naruto just hoped they would end up on the same team. Everything is just favorable for this. She is the poorly developed daughter of the Hokage, he is the best student in the graduating class. Equilibrium. Everything just screams that they will be on the same team. But there is one more factor: Naruto, Jinchuriki, Kyuubi, and Sasuke from the Uchiha clan, from the clan that can control. Consequently, Sasuke can be placed closer to the Hokage's daughter, so that if something happens, he can pacify the raging beast. Although, if Kurama goes on a rampage, knows Sasuke will help. Not with Tomo for sure. Have a fun life, Databao. That's for sure. Part 6. Sitting in a stuffy classroom and waiting for her sensei, Naruto had already cursed everyone and everything several times, then went around the second and third circle. Kurama was amazed at the vocabulary of the Jinchuriki, and the girl herself sent him to hell. In the end, how much is possible? He and his team have been sitting here for 3 hours. Kami-sama, Naruto thought that at least in this world Kakashi-sensei would not be late, but apparently, the Jounin had sinned somewhere, since he was given such a habit. In all worlds. Or did Naruto do something, since for the second time she is awarded this misunderstanding in the form of a sensei, who is also one of the best Konoha shinobi and her father's student. Just recently, Naruto learned that Obito Uchiha in this world had died. And then he really died, and did not join Madara or anyone else. The story of his death is the same as in another world. The only difference was that Kakashi, Rin, and Minato, who arrived in time, were able to pull the boy's body out from under the rubble, but due to too serious damage, Obito could not be saved. So the boy's body, after several examinations confirming his identity, was buried in the cemetery. And the Sharingan Rin still managed to transplant Kakashi before Minato-sensei arrived, so here too the future sensei of Team Number 7 is known all over the world. Naruto also found out that Rin is the same Rin Noira, now a Hatake, that is, the wife of Kakashi. She works at Konoha Hospital and is one of the village's best ironing. It was unexpected. Well, the very fact that Kakashi has a wife completely knocked Naruto out of his perception of the world for a good few hours. Uzumaki learned all this information from Kurama, and Kurama himself from the memory of the 9 tales of this world. As Naruto and Sasuke expected, they were assigned to the same team. Moreover, Team 7 consisted of the same members as in the other world. Sakura Haruno, who passed all theory with excellent marks and good practice, Naruto Uzumaki, who passed theory worst of all in the class, and practice with a solid, good, and Sasuke Uchiha, who, not surprisingly, passed everything with excellent marks. You should have seen the face of Iruka sensei when Naruto easily created a clone, and a shadow one at that. Uzumaki will remember this moment for the rest of his life. The next day after receiving the protectors, we were assigned to teams. Naruto and Sasuke sat down together as they had for the past few months. The pink-haired body of Haruno landed next to them, who first looked angrily at her. Main after Ino rival. And she was not at all embarrassed that Sasuke and Naruto didn't even talk in class, and then with hearts in her eyes she looked at the favorite of the entire academy. Well, nothing has changed here, Uzumaki thought. When Iruka announced the list of members of the 7th team, Naruto and Sasuke high-fived each other under the table so that no one would notice, and Sakura let out a squeal that deafened everyone within a radius of several kilometers. Even the birds flew away from the trees, rose from her seat, and raised her hands up in a victory gesture. Take that, Ino is pork. She then screamed so loudly that even the windows shook. Naruto mentally facepalmed, Sasuke sighed heavily and rolled his eyes. I myself wanted the former composition of my team, the fox neighed inside. I already regret it. Naruto answered him then, imagining how many problems there would be with Sakura. Let's get acquainted. Kakashi-sensei notified everyone when he still bothered to show up to his genin 4 hours later. As if nothing had happened, he entered the classroom, examined the students, with a most serious face declared that, I don't like you, and told them to go to the roof. And then it turned out that it was his clone, which surprised neither Naruto nor Sasuke. The original met his new headache in the eye, as the rest of his face was hidden by a mask. Then Sakura came at him, but not finding a response from her teammates, she fell silent. Tell us about yourself. What you like, what you don't like. Your dreams and goals. Lead by example, sensei. Haruno spoke again. Naruto, like her image, sat with her head down, listening to all this nonsense for the second time. And Sasuke sighed next to him. You know my name. What I love you don't need to know. What I don't like doesn't apply to you. My dreams and goals are uninteresting. In the end, he didn't say anything. Sakura muttered quietly. What followed was her fiery speech about the fact that she loves Sasuke, dreams of Sasuke, her goals Sasuke, which, however, was accompanied by gasps and sighs towards the latter. And I hate Naruto. Of course, because she takes her Sasuke-kun away. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. What I love whoever needs it knows. What I don't like you should not be interested. My dreams and goals do not apply to you. The Uchiha briefly and clearly expressed all his contempt. And he said this in such a tone that Sakura involuntarily shuddered, and Kakashi chuckled nervously under his mask. In short, he spoke as usual. My name is Namikaze Naruto. The Jinchuriki spoke quietly but confidently, albeit with her head bowed. Kakashi looked at his teacher's daughter with interest. I like a lot of things. I don't like them: betrayal, loneliness, and fear. My goal be a strong kunoichi. What about the dream? What is your dream? Kakashi asked. I want to be loved. Naruto answered very, very quietly, without lying a word. Kakashi looked at his student in surprise, who looked back at him. In her eyes he saw something that made him flinch, but understand her. And believe her words.